Okay, hopefully this stuff is more review for you. Finding intercepts. All right, so it says given the graph y equals x squared minus 4, find the x and y intercepts. How do you ever find the x-intercepts of anything?
Set it to 0, right?
Set what equal to 0?
If you want to find, yeah.
Y. Okay, so to find the x-intercepts, set y equal to 0, and then figure out what x is. So here, we're going to set y equal to 0, and then solve for x. So how do I do that?
2.
It's part of it.
Add 4.
Add 4 to both sides. So I get 4 equals x squared, then what?
Square root it.
Square root both sides, and x comes out to be
2.
and
-2.
-2. Okay. So if I were graphing this thing, I'd have one at 2 and one at -2. Good. All right, if I want to find the y-intercepts of anything, how do you do that?
Set x to 0.
Set x equal to 0 and solve for y. So I'm going to get y equals 0 squared minus 4. What's 0 squared? It's always the easier of the 2. So that means that one's going to be down here.
And there's no positive one.
Right. Now, does that make sense based off of what you guys learned last year about this? That's a parabola. Y equals x squared is the normal parabola equation, right? What's the minus 4 do to it?
It makes it drop it down.
Goes down 4. And that's what it does, so it looks good.
What's the scenario where it's like you ignore the negative? Isn't there something where like I forget what it is, but if it's like a negative, it's something negative?
Well, if we had something like a y equals x minus 4 squared where it's on the inside, what does this minus 4 do to it? You would think it would move it to the left because it's minus, but it actually goes to the right 4. Right. So the inside ones move them this way. The outside things move them up and down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we actually will do that again eventually when we do some graphing stuff. But not yet. Okay, how about this one? All I want you to do is find the x and y intercepts of this. So how do you find the x-intercepts? Set y equals 0. So 0 equals x to the third minus 8. Then what? Add 8. 8 equals x to the third. Now what? Cubed root both sides. What number times itself 3 times is going to get me 8? 2. And -2? No. Mm-hmm. It's got to be one or the other when it's odd. Y-intercepts. How do you find the y-intercepts of anything?
X to 0.
Y equals 0 cubed minus 8. Love those. So easy. Okay, so you can find intercepts. Okay. If you want the x-intercepts, let y equal 0 solve. If you want the y-intercepts, set x equal to 0 and solve. All right, that was all 1.2. That's all we needed out of there. 1.3. Just solving equations, just like in algebra. What should I do first here?
3
Try to get x.
times x.
Okay. My ultimate goal is to get x alone. The problem here is I've got 2 of them, and they're on opposite sides, and they're trapped by those parentheses. So first things first, distribute the through. So I'm going to get 3x minus 6, and then here I'm going to get 5x minus 5. All right, they're untrapped. Now what?
X.
Get x by itself.
Everything you guys are all saying is correct. So I could add 6 here. My first step is usually I try to get all the x's on one side. And I always move, should I move the bigger one or the smaller one? I always move the smaller one. So I would subtract 3x from both sides. So now I'll have -6 equals 2x minus 5. And then what?
Plus 5.
Now we add 5.
-2.
Nope, you guys will still mine for at least 10 minutes if I need it.
That's what it is.
Oh,
Zach just has nothing.
It's going to be a long year. still there. Good. Okay, how about this one then? What should I do first?
Distribute.
Good. 4x minus 4 plus 1 is 2x plus 3. Now what? Okay. So now I got 3 equals what?
2 equals 4x minus 4.
2x. Can I put these together?
Yeah, see, this was something.
Now what?
Add 3.
Okay, pretty easy. Lots of algebra. Okay, a little review from Algebra 2. 4 terms. There was a trick to this.
You break it up.
Mhm.
And,
Group it. What do these two have in common?
X squared.
So if I pull that out, what will I be left with here?
X squared plus X.
Plus, what will I be left with here? 1. Because x squared plus or times 1 would get me back that x squared. Okay? So we're undistributing now. Right? What about these two terms? What do they have in common?
4.
Not just a 4,
Negative.
a negative 4. Leaving me behind with x and positive 1. Now you know this worked out right if these two things in the parentheses are the
And
same.
it's x squared minus 4.
Okay, so then the way this works out is you take the two things out in front, put them together. Okay, so we got my x squared and my minus 4 together, times the thing they had in common.
Do you square the x plus 1?
No. Okay,
Oh, I see.
glad you asked. I get that asked every year. All right, so I always show this example. You guys are good at this. What's 3x plus 2x? Okay, that's very good. You're skipping a step. Right? Isn't that 5x because it's really 3 plus 2
Yeah.
times x? Right? So what we did here is we took the two things out in front and put them together times the thing they had in common. How come this isn't x squared? See what I'm saying? So that's exactly what happened here. When I had a thing times something minus another thing times the same something, you take the two things out in front, put them together, times the thing they had in common. The same way that you do it over here. And for the same reason. Okay? Now, does this factor anymore?
Nope.
No. Well, this,
Yes.
that's a difference of 2 squares. What's that break up into? All right, so I got all these things multiplied together that equals 0, so one of them has to be 0. What makes this one 0? What makes this one 0? Grouping. Grouping. All right, last one. What do you hate about that? Me too. So let's get rid of it. I want to multiply this whole problem by something that's going to get rid of both of those denominators. So I need something that both a 3 and a 7 will go into.
21.
So if I multiply this, so I'm going to distribute. When I distribute it here, the 21 and the 3 cancels, leaving me with what?
7.
7 times what's up here. If I distribute the 21 through here, the 21 and the 7 will cancel, leaving me with
3.
times what's left up there. When I distribute the 21 to the 5, do I get anything to cancel? So what is 21 times 5? 105. Right, it got a little bit bigger, but at least there's no fractions. So what do I do?
You just solve. Distribute.
7x plus 7, 3x plus 6,
Please combine my terms.
10x, constants, I've got 13. Then what?
Subtract 13. Divide by 10.
X is 9.2. Okay, so you could use this little trick at the beginning by eliminating all these denominators, Makes your problem a little bit longer, but at least it doesn't have fractions anymore. Easy enough?
Yes.
Okay, try those. Oh, I don't know what the directions say for this. I'm sure that it says do this and then find the symmetry. Don't do that part. So just do the first part of the example.